What is going on, everybody? Your boy Patman here with the biggest Halo Infinite news update we've had to date. There is some seriously good stuff in here, and if you guys were wondering about things like the graphics and how things have changed since the July showcase, or multiplayer, or even customization in Halo Infinite, we have details on all of that. Really exciting stuff. I'll be showing off some new Halo Infinite screenshots in this video. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you're new here and want to stay absolutely up to date on everything that's going on in the world of Halo. If you guys can't tell, I'm really excited about some of the stuff that they've gone over. It feels good to finally be out of the dark when it comes to Halo Infinite, and I hope you guys enjoy this one. So let's get started with first the art direction and the graphics of Halo Infinite and how far that's come since the July showcase. And they even give more insight onto what exactly happened with the July showcase, more so what wasn't in the demo than what was in the demo. So very interesting stuff to go over. Let's start with that. So as far as that campaign demo, of course, the primary goal of that for 343 was to show off the gameplay of Halo Infinite. Now, you might get a couple of people who say they didn't really like the way the gameplay looked, but the general consensus of that demo, my opinion included, was that the gameplay looked really fun. It was the graphics department that was really lacking, and we expected more from a next generation Halo title. Now, 343 actually admits that the stuff that the community was talking about was really what they felt internally. Before the demo was even out, they were already working on these things before they showed everybody what Halo Infinite looked like. But they still said it was really humbling to see how much the community cared and how passionate we are about this game. Now, things they wanted to work on were indirect lighting, material response, foliage, tree rendering, clouds, level of detail in the transitions, and character fidelity. Now, some of the things that weren't done as far as actual technical features, there was global illumination, dynamic time of day because Halo Infinite features a time of day mechanic, GPU driven rendering, and variable rate shading were all in active development. They weren't finished when this July showcase went on. And something that I noted, and it turns out to be true, was that maybe the team was really just focusing on getting a locked frame rate, high frame rate, and kind of just saying, hey, some of these things are going to have to be sacrificed just to make sure that that gameplay looks buttery smooth, and that's exactly what they were focusing on. They said the main goal was high resolution, high frame rate, and that's what they wanted to show off. Now, 343's main art director, Nicholas Sparth Bouvier, he is basically the person that is in charge of the art department, the art direction of 343. Everything that goes on with the direction of the game, artistically, graphically, goes through him and his team. He admits that Halo 5 didn't really do a good job of taking player feedback into account when it comes to Halo's visuals, and how that they really want to honor the legacy of Halo, and of course they do, with going back to the classic art style. It looks great, guys, and he's really excited. You could tell that he's excited that Halo Infinite looks like a natural progression of the Halo universe, and they wanted to basically blend old stuff with new stuff and make sure that it still looked like it belonged, that it still looked and felt like Halo, and I think they've nailed that with Infinite so far from what we've seen. Now we have our first look at a multiplayer map in Halo Infinite here, and it looks like in the bottom middle of the map there we have some sort of power-up. And you guys can also see what looks to be a weapon pickup, very similar looking to what Halo 5 had with like the weapon pads. So that looks to be coming forward. Don't mind that at all. And then behind the main Spartan here in the image, it looks to be the grapple hook pickup that we've been talking about in the multiplayer. Now let's talk about the progress that the team has made on certain features graphically. First thing is that they've been fixing bugs, of course, as well as iterating and polishing some of the features that were still in development back when the July showcase was shown. So some of the key areas of progress that they have worked on were better quality of global illumination, ambient occlusion, shadows, volumetric lighting, the sky, atmosphere. They addressed issues with their GPU driven rendering and texture streaming solution that should mitigate the popping and texture quality issues that were prevalent in the July demo, which is great to hear. Now, more specifically, they've included retuning to their dynamic lighting values to add more punch and contrast to images. So that includes things like the sun intensity, the fog in the atmosphere, and the addition of color grading, which did not make it into the July gameplay demo. Another great thing was that they improved how the materials look in game, so you'll see more wear and tear on weapons and vehicles, more fidelity on the characters in the game, and what they say as more macro breakup on large surfaces like rocks, terrain, and the hex walls that we see scattered throughout Zeta Halo. So now you'll get more of the textural detail coming through in the final frame of the image thanks to a sharpening process that they've added since that July showcase, and it really allows the game's graphics to shine. Now it comes to this point in the video where we gotta talk about everybody's favorite recent Halo meme, good old boy Craig. So Craig, he's gonna be looking a little bit different than the last time that you guys saw him. Now 343 acknowledges the great meme that Craig is. However, nobody was supposed to really notice Craig having that deadpan look on his face because guess what? Animations weren't done. All characters were modeled in a neutral pose prior to blend shapes and animations being applied for that July demo. So that was never the intention for everybody to see Craig like that. However, like I said earlier in the video, material fidelity has been greatly increased and more variety has been added for brute faces. And another thing that a lot of people will be absolutely ecstatic to hear is that they've added hairdos and beards to brutes, which is something that they couldn't get to in July. So that will add way more diversity and way more of a classic look to the brutes when Halo Infinite launches. Now, last few things to go over as far as the graphics section of this video. The team has been working to continue polishing the game, of course, and working on lighting, global illumination, and atmospherics. They also mentioned that they're working with making sure that content creators, hey, that's me, can take full advantage of all the cool technologies that they've built over the last couple of years. So I can't wait to see that. Now 343 does mention something called content complete, where they feel like everything is put in the game that they need to put in the game, and then that's where they could focus on really fine-tuning the graphics and all the technical aspects of a video game. So that has been actually mentioned, if you guys remember, by Clobril before, saying that Halo Infinite was content complete and that they really were just polishing this game. So they said that oftentimes significant improvements are made after the content complete milestone is there. So things like set dressing, mask painting, texture material improvements, FX and lighting tweaking, and animation polish and variety are all things currently still being worked on with Halo Infinite. They said they've made significant improvements to the foliage, trees, and grass, both in terms of rendering and visual fidelity, and how they maintain that fidelity over distance. But that is still another thing that's being worked on, and the fidelity will of course improve as time goes on. Now a lot of you may be wondering, well, when can we see all of this? You know, we want to see this kind of stuff, and honestly, I don't blame 343 for not showing it yet. They're not ready yet. After the backlash from July, they want to make sure that this thing is absolutely ready to be shown off with all the features that they've been talking about and really show the difference of what they've been working on since that July showcase. So I don't blame them for not being ready to show just yet, but they will show in the months coming, they said. And I say months coming because, oh yeah, by the way, Halo Infinite is not launching until fall of 2021. So we got some time before this game is coming out. That is the new release window straight from 343 themselves. Fall of 2021 is Halo Infinite's hopeful final release window. Could get pushed farther back depending on what goes on with COVID or if the game isn't ready yet. But hopefully that doesn't slip further into the holiday of 2021, and maybe we'll see Halo Infinite around September or October. Now, if that wasn't exciting enough, let's get to my favorite part of the blog where they talk about customization of Halo Infinite. Really, in my opinion, the most important part of Halo Infinite. It's the thing that's going to incentivize players to keep grinding, keep playing, and to unlock cool new ways to show off their character, their guns, and things like that. So let's talk about customization. Now, this whole blog post is basically some sort of Q&A with some of the developers of Halo Infinite. So that's how this information is being presented. But something that they did mention, and with a capital letter, they talked about what can players look forward to each season. So I don't think this is referring to seasons as far as spring, winter, fall, we're actually talking about things like we have in MCC, actual seasons, and having content locked to those seasons, but seems like they're going to carry over everything that they learned with MCC seasons. No fear of missing out. Once a season ends, you can still go back and unlock things. So that is definitely good to hear. They also mention unlocking things via challenges and player progression. That is also really good to hear. And they've experimented with this in MCC. I've said it several times. MCC will be a great way for them to learn how to implement certain things in Halo Infinite. So the people that they're interviewing in this section are part of the live team, basically the people who keep the game flowing based on player feedback, whether it comes to achievements, challenges, player progression, things like that. The pillars of this team, they go into detail what the pillars are, what their core values are, what they're trying to accomplish with everything that they designed for the game. So they want to give healthy engagement for the players. They say that is paramount. They want everyone to play the game in a healthy manner that they enjoy. They're not trying to build a grind machine that burns everyone out in an attempt to get more game time from them. They said Halo Infinite needs to be a place where we all look forward to spending time. The next pillar is maintaining a player-first focus. They said think of all the games that we've played that have random rewards or ask people to play a way they hate just for a new piece of customization, or weaponize a fear of missing out against the player. Now, there will be limited time events in Halo Infinite, but they don't want to turn free time into a chore. They're not about that. Everyone should enjoy their time in Halo Infinite. They also said unambiguous value. If someone invests their time or money in the game, they should understand what they're getting, and it will be worth more than the investment. Examples of this include no loot boxes, either through engagement or any premium route. They're not selling power or giving an unfair advantage in-game via any route. No pay to win. They also said another pillar would be always listening, learning, and experimenting. The live team is all about growth and iteration. They build and support some fun content, but there will be times when things don't go as planned or where something they tried didn't land well with the community. There will also be times when they believe in ideas, much like the coding system that they've introduced, and that they ask that players give it time and try it out before, basically writing it off. But there will be moments to learn and grow. It will require a close partnership with the players where they could be more transparent, basically, with the community. Now, the last two pillars that they go over is to provide value and allow player expression. Now, they said that they want everyone to build their dream Spartan. They're looking for more ways to customize in-game personas and give the player options. They know long-term players have favorites that they love and have for maybe 2 decades or more. They want to make sure that Halo Infinite players will be able to get their old favorites as well as find new favorites at launch, and they want to expand over the months post-launch. They said much like MCC, they would want to eventually bring everything to Halo Infinite, so that's really cool to hear. Now, more specifically, this being a free-to-play multiplayer title, of course, there's a lot of concerns of how that's going to affect customization. So right now, around the codings, they talked about that, and they want to make sure that they're doing the right thing for the players and their ability to represent themselves, as well as what a free-to-play service-driven title might represent. So, being free-to-play does mean that there will be some premium cosmetics, stuff you'll buy in the store cosmetically, but players will still obtain tons of customization, says 343, through things like playing the campaign, great to hear, challenges, great to hear, skill, special events, and legacy rewards such as Halo 5 SR-152 rewards, the progression system, and more. All positives in my opinion. That's what I want to see. That's what Halo's been lacking, and one of my main gripes with the newer games. So they said they always want to provide value for pure engagement and simply playing the game. They said that providing value isn't exclusive to monetary transactions. It's about making sure you're properly rewarded for the time that you're investing into the game. So players that play for free will be able to unlock items across a multitude of different customization types to allow them to represent themselves in game. But something they also acknowledged that Halo 5 didn't do a great job of rewarding their most engaged players, people who reached max rank 152. So they said they've added a few tokens of appreciation into Halo Infinite to help make up for that. And in this picture, guys, you guys will see 2 of the tokens. So there may be more stuff here, but we have armor coating and a sexy, in my opinion, weapon coating. I love red and black color schemes. I'm a sucker for those. It looks really good. You can see it here on the assault rifle and on the battle rifle. Now they go into more detail about the coding system. So they say that the coding system allows them to define color, wear and tear, patterns, and materials on a region by region basis on the Spartan or anything in the game, be it armor, weapons, vehicles, or even environment elements like fuel barrels. Now there really is a lot to go over with the coding system, so I think I'm going to cover that in another video, get more specific about it. 343 says why they did it, and they actually give a lot of good reasons as to why they've made this hard decision. So if you guys want to check that out, stay tuned later in the week for that video. The next thing that they talked about was the reach level of customization that has been confirmed for Halo Infinite. Now, no mention of armor effects. However, they said that helmet attachment, chest, shoulder pads left and right, knee guards, wrist gear, as well as utility and visor color are all coming back in Infinite. But they said also that personally, the person that they're interviewing has always loved visors and that they have a surprise to show soon. What could this be, guys? Very curious to know. They obviously can't show everything about Halo Infinite. A few things have to be teased, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, the blog post ends with Joseph Staten, who, if you guys don't know, a pillar of Halo development. He worked on the original games at Bungie and has rejoined being a Halo developer, now working at 343 again. And if anybody knows how Halo should be, it's this man. He is one of the most impactful people from the original Halo games as far as development goes. You guys would know Joseph Staten when you saw him. He's in a lot of the Bungie Vidocs, things like that. So they close this by saying they're not making this game for them. They're making it for us, the fans. So starting with this update, they're going to be sharing more about what they're doing and why they're doing it. But he wanted to say some final things, and this really it gets me super excited, guys. So his first week on the job, he played through the entire Infinite campaign twice, he said. And he said, in a word, he was stunned in the best possible way by what the team had done. He said, Infinite is by far the most expansive and vertical Halo world ever. Why did they do this? Because they understand that wonder and freedom are key to the Halo experience. He said he could feel the classic Halo 30 seconds of fun beating at the heart of Infinite's world, but he never felt more powerful, more mobile, and more in command of a rich set of tactical choices. He then said that this was what Halo was supposed to be back in 2000, what Bungie originally envisioned, but finally come to life, 20 years of technical and creative innovation. He said that his first journey through Zeta Halo was the most mysterious, dangerous, and possibility-rich place in the entire Halo universe. Everywhere that he looked, he saw choices. For example, do I explore off the Golden Path, assault that banished warbase guarding the Valley Pass, follow a flight of Forerunner Sentinels into an unexpected cavern, or rescue a squad of Marines dug in and desperate halfway up a mountain? Or do I keep pulling the mainline story thread that feels epic and intimate at the exact same time? Music to my ears, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope to catch you guys on either a previous video of mine or a future video of mine. Until that time comes, I am your boy Patman, and I am out.